Hello, I'm Aaron from Last Stand Gamers and welcome to Survival Secrets, the series that is designed to help you with your problems in DayZ. It's going to be covering tips and tricks, and this week's episode is on camping, setting up a tent and surviving and storing your gear. So basically, the concept of surviving with a tent is you survive more than 6-7 hours and you've got excess gear, or maybe that you're worried about you're going to die and you need a place that you can quickly restock and get back into the action. If you're a lone player, this is quite easy because you can hide a tent almost about anywhere, but this is where it starts getting technical. What about if you spawn in different locations? What about if you've got too much loot? Or what about if you're not playing solo? Well, what can you do? I'm going to tell you some of the things I've seen and some of the problems. As you can see here, this is a standard camp that you might see on a lot of servers. They've got a little bit of barbed wire, a few tents and a vehicle. And just look how bad it is hidden. This thing would be so easy to detect, and you've got all the loot hidden in one place. That could just be a field day for someone. They could take your car, take your tents and take all your equipment. Now these are some of the setups I like to use. I like to spread my tents out, and if you think about it, I try not to put them in diagonal patterns or too much in any more than a group of two, and it's so important to always store your car either with a single tent or far away from the main two campsites. As you can see here, the tent that I've put down there is a reserve tent, so I'd go to that, get some limited loot, and then carry on to get the good loot from the tents if I died. Or if I was too lazy to get there, or the car, something happens to the car, I could use this primary sort of tent. And as you can see there, I was just showing you how I would drive to each tent, pick up the stuff, hide the stuff, and it's very important that you remember where you place them, because there's nothing worse than being a squirrel and placing them in some ridiculous places. Here's a tent I found on one of the servers the other day, and basically it was a small campsite, and to be honest, if you're going to put barbed wire and defences up, you may as well block it all around, because there's not going to be someone on guard 24/7 to hold the position, and I'm just going to walk in, take your loot and walk off. Now this is where it starts to get a little bit crafty. Think about it, there's a lot of unpopulated and villages that are not even worth going into. So this is the place where I place my tents. Now I've said it, I'm never going to place a tent there again because these are probably about 2,000, 3,000 people that know where it is. And this is something I'm not going to tell you about, but I'm just going to show you. If you get good, you can probably place a tent about anywhere. How you access that, I'm not going to tell you, and I'm not going to tell you how to put it there either. Something also quite useful is you can get inside your tent. This has worked in a few times in a few situations where my campsite's been surrounded and I've panicked and I crawled in there. They came up to the thing to loot the tent and I just shot them point blank. The guy didn't even know what I'd hit him. As you can see here, this is a tactic that works on some servers, in some it doesn't, and that's the problem. If you place loot in there and you run over your tents and it doesn't work, you're absolutely screwed. To access these tents, all you have to do is quickly crouch on the ground next to it and you should be able to get your gear back up. But start to think about where you're placing the tents. I'm not going to reveal too many positions in this video, and I haven't, because I don't want to just show you spots, because them spots will be very soon used and overgrown with people placing tents there. So these are some things to think about, and that's me out of here.
Welcome to the war. Welcome to the beach, boys.